So here we are eventually. It didn't happen on December 11th, but today Dmitry is with us to talk about generative AI and of course with Copilot Toolkit in Business Central. So welcome to you in the 79th webinar of our EOPA webinars, Dmitry. Great to have you on the show. And yes, it's quite late on your side. So unfortunately on the 11th, things went wrong. And while you were waiting all evening to get your things done, we eventually had to decide to postpone it today. It's good to see that quite a number of people showed up. So welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to any of you, and hope we're going to deliver something to you worthwhile. I think we will, but that's of course up to you to judge. So before I'm going to hand over to you, Dmitry, like always, I'll run through a couple of slides, housekeeping rules. Welcome everybody also to post your questions through the questions window, and I, your moderator, Luc van Vugt, will pick them up. We agreed, Dmitry and I, that I will step in if it fits at the point in time where he is discussing things, and otherwise it will be at the end of the webinar. So don't hold back and put your questions in the window. As you know, it is being recorded and it will be on YouTube like any of the previous sessions. And yes, it's not the last one this year. We have a couple more. A newsletter will go out this week. If you want to get that sent to your email address, use this URL to subscribe to it. We've got 4 sessions planned ahead. 2 of them have already been communicated, one by Andrzej Zwisowski and the other one by Stefan Demiliani. And there are 2 new ones, one by David Singleton and Kamil Sajak. Those 2, I still need to get the official registration link from Jan Silliman from Fornaf to allow me to send out a newsletter. But as soon as I've got them, it will be sent out, and that will be somewhere this week. And as always, trying to somehow trigger any of you to step in and come up with a topic and even be a speaker, you're more than welcome. Even if it's a threshold for you to take, I'll be your coach to help you get that done. Dmitry, my last slide to thank our sponsor, Fornaf. And now it's time to make you presenter and let you tell your story. So you should be able to share your screen.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I think you see it.
I can see it and I can hear you. So that's, let's say, the main condition to be able to do this.
Great. Welcome, everyone, to this webinar. I think the most complicated thing for me was to remember what I did prepared a month ago before the Christmas and New Year holidays. And I want to take a moment and give a huge shout out to Evgeny and Thomas from Microsoft Dev Team, who made the Copilot Toolkit experience possible and shared this presentation with me and you. This is the presentation that we did in Directions EMEA in line in November. So all credits for this work really belongs to them. I'm Dmitry Katson, the MVP, and also the creator of Central View AI. I hope you at least heard of that and maybe tried that. Free tool for free AI tool that will answer questions about Business Centrals, taking into account all community knowledge that we have. So yeah, if you didn't try, please go to centralview.ai and try. This is this is nice photo from our session in Directions, and today we will talk about the Copilot Toolkit that we now have inside of the Business Central. So the toolkit actually consists of three main parts: the PromptDialog PageType, AI model, and AI administration. So why do we need that? I think if you played with the OpenAI APIs or Azure OpenAI APIs or any other providers, you actually know that we can do all the things like generate AI generation things through the REST APIs. So we don't need this whole toolkit inside of Business Central just to start. However, we need to have many things around that, like to count tokens, to have some kind of UI, to get the input, show processing, and to get the output, show the output, apply things, and so on. So that's why the toolkit is here. We just need to focus on the business logic, and the Microsoft prepare for us a nice UI and the wrappers that we need just to call. So it's available in Docker starting from version 23.1, and in Business Central Online starting from 23.2. It's not a chat mode, so it's not conversational mode. We have a kind of UI where we have input, then generation, animation, and the output, and then we apply this output to save the result into the Business Central. So in box, we have the UI, we have AI model, which consists of AI module and Copilot module, and all the code units and enums that are required to deal with that. We also have guides and samples, and we have administration model. So we will cover all this during this webinar today. Let's start with the PromptDialog PageType. So the PromptDialog PageType is a new type of a page inside of the Business Central. So it's AL object, and it consists of three phases. Yeah, so it's a three screens. The input screen, where we tell the large language model what we want it to do, to generate. Then the generation step, where it's actual generation going on, and we have nice animation of the process, and then the output screen. And the output screen is actually how we decide to show to the user the output from the large language model. The input screen and the output screen can be structured or unstructured. So this is the example of unstructured prompt or input screen, but also we have a possibility to make a structured screen. The same applies to the output screen. So it could be unstructured, just to get the pure text from the large language model, or in this screen, it could be a structured, where we also do some kind of post-processing from the large language model and generate this nice screen to the user. Let's see the example that I prepared. So let's see. Okay, so let's start from this one again. So this is the new company here, this Ariopal company, and I want to create a Copilot to generate a number series. So I do have here a number series, and I have this generate action that I built. So let's go here. And we need to provide some instructions to the large language model. Okay, so how we want to generate number series. And let's say I want, okay, use dash in the number. Okay, and we click generate. So now what's going on, and we will see this AL code later. We do some pre-processing inside of AL. We generate the prompt, the final prompt for inside of AL, then send this to the Azure OpenAI and get the response back and do some post-processing of this response. And we do have like a nice suggestions of the number series. But you see here, we have like a warning number starting from 90,000. I don't want like 1,000 numbers before. I want a little bit less. So maybe I can do another call. So let's say type like warn user when 100 numbers left. Okay, and we click generate. So how we do the same logic here. So we do pre-processing and sending the prompt to the Azure OpenAI and do the get the response back. Now you see that we have it's applied our request into the rules, and now we have this warning number at 899. Yeah, but maybe we don't have we don't want to have like 5 digits here. Yeah, maybe we want to have less or more. Like for example, use 4 digits. So we see it's like not a chat mode, but we actually expanding our request in one line. So we give more and more instructions to the large language model, so we get the result that we want. Okay, so it's actually it's still 5. Maybe we can try less, maybe. And we use like we use GPT 3.5 here, and GPT 4 is better for following exact instructions. So you will see that sometimes it can follow your instructions, sometimes not. Now you see that we have like 3 digits here. Nice, and we also, then the last thing that we need to do is keep it. So for now, this is not yet applied into the Business Central number series. You see it's blank. So we need to apply it manually because this is mandatory thing in this loop, because the main thought about all these AI generated things that the user should be in control of what's going on. So we could keep it, and we have a nice number series here. Okay, so let's see how this is done in AL. So we start with the page. This is the normal page. However, the page type is a PromptDialog. So the is preview thing is we for now need to set as true, and it will give this nice preview icon or indicator on the top of the screen of the page. And the extensible false. The extensible false is mandatory thing. So for the PromptDialog, the Microsoft for now don't want these to be extensible, just to get to see how it goes and to make it more reliable. Because if we inject more and more things into the prompt on fly, this can result in some unexpected output. So we want to have full control for now. Yeah, but this is not everything. You can start with this. However, if you noticed, prepare this. So this is the same example. We can move here between the iterations. So that's where our iterations that we generated. To make this functionality work, we need to let's open this page. So we need to manually implement the source table and make it temporary. Yeah. So the source table here, the source table can be any table. However, there should be one rule that the primary key should be integer, and we need to save the IDs here. So the IDs of the generations, like 1, 2, 3. On every step that we do the generation, I do this generation ID +1, and then save it into the my temporary table. So I save the ID, and I save also the input. The input is required to show here the user prompts that was used for this generation ID. So here we have use dash number first, then use dash one user, and then use dash one user, and the use for digits. And if we click then here, we see this input that was used by the user. All this is possible because we need to save this in our generation history table, okay, after each generation. Then the prompt area. The prompt area is where the user input instructions to the large language model and how it wants the output to be generated. So it could be structured or unstructured. In case of unstructured, it is just a text field, which is multi-line and show caption false. So that's why we have this large space here for the input. Then, okay, let's see how this is implemented in our page. So we have here these areas. Yeah, so these areas that we talked about, this is prompt. This is my input text, which is just a text. However, if you see here, we have a trigger on validate and then current page update. So this is still required. I would say maybe it will not be required later, but without this, there is a bug. So the input text will not be saved. So we need to do this on validate. It could be, by the way, blank. This will also work. But we can do also cart page update. So this is for now a mandatory thing to make it work. Also, we have this prompt options area. So the prompt options area is empty here. What it does, sorry, I do have a blog about explaining everything about PromptDialog page, and especially this part. We can add also some kind of structured configurations, like what we want, how do we want the large language model to process our request. It could be like a color or something. It's implemented as enum, so it's like an enum, and then we add this enum to the field into the prompt options, and this generate this nice UI, and then you can use it into your prompt generation logic. Okay, so that's for the input, right? Then we need to have this nice generate action. So how this action is implemented. There is under actions area, there are new system actions area. So action group, then area system actions. And there are several system actions. The one of them is a generate. So this generate action appears, if you have this, and you should have this, appears on the input mode. And the caption is up to you. You can use any caption you want. And then on action, you implement your generate with AI logic. So this generate with AI logic is a custom implemented function, because I saw some questions in the Yammer group where this is also mentioned in the docs. So there was a question in the Yammer. Okay, I tried to implement the Copilot Toolkit, but I don't have this generate with AI function. So this function is a custom function that you implement. Yeah, so let's see this action in our page. So it's like the same thing. We have this generate number series and then generate number series function. So if we go then in the AI logic. So for now, when user press the generate, the screen changed to this nice animation. And we can also change the caption here of this animation using the progress dialog. Okay. And for the output, when we get the result from the large language model, and we actually get a result from large language model in a text. So we need to do some kind of post-processing of this text. I will show you how we can do this to make a structured output. For now, I will just mention that if you want to display, if you want to show a list of something, a table, you cannot use a repeater inside of the prompt dialog page. You need to use this part. You need to put your repeater in a list part and then show this part here. So let's see how this is implemented in our example. So I have this part, proposal details. Nothing special about this except this. So I do link this by the generation ID. My proposal part, it's a list part, and I use my custom table number series proposal to save when I do the post-processing of the LLM output, I save the values from the output to my table. And I also link it by the generation ID. So when the user scrolls through the generations, you see also the list part changes. So it was like this proposal and this proposal. Like behind the scenes, we have all proposals saved in one table, and then we just filter here by the generation ID. Okay. So yeah, so it's nothing special here to mention for this at this moment. And also, we update this page caption manually in AL. So this is done with the data caption expression, and we assign a value to that. So in this, in our case, I do have this generation ID input text. And if we search here, I assign it on after get record, and I get it from my temporary table from the value loan field, which is assigned as an input text. So I do have so two tables here. The first one to save the generation IDs and the input, and another table to save the generation output and link it to the generation ID. Okay. And then the last thing is a keep it action. So mandatory thing, we need to implement it. It's also implemented as a system action of type OK. And we should have also system action of type cancel. So once again, caption is up to us. We can change the captions. And in my example, I do have this OK and cancel system action. Also, we do have a tooltip here, but also we have this another two system actions, which are called regenerate and attach. So the regenerate action is required to run the same prompt. So we don't change the prompt, we just want to run it once again. And if we implement this, we need to implement this manually. So it's generating. And we should have the output. And you see that it's also increased our generation IDs, so it comes as a separate generation. We can apply it as well. So this regenerate action is actually calls the same function as a generate action. So nothing. So two actions doing the same things, but this generate happens on the first screen, and when we already do have generations, this regenerate action appears on the output screen. Then we also do have this attach, but I will talk about later about this. How do I save the result? Yeah, so when we click on keep it, we can do this in two ways. The first one inside of the page, inside of the PromptDialog page, on a query close page trigger. So when user clicks on keep it, behind the scenes it is like a close action OK, and if we get this response, we implement our custom logic to save Copilot proposal inside of the Business Central database, or maybe do some logic inside of the Business Central database, but just only if the user approves that. Another option how we can run this save logic is outside of the PromptDialog page. So when we implement the action to run the Copilot, we can use this on action, and if so, we run the Copilot dialog with a run module. If the action is OK, then we get the output from the page. We implement this by ourselves, and then we save the output inside of the Business Central database. We also implement this by ourselves. Okay, so this is how implemented in our example. So I do have inside of the proposal page of the Copilot page, we have on query close page, and then I apply proposed number series inside of the Business Central. So one more thing about the UI. We have this sparkle image to identify this action as a Copilot feature. Also, we have two types of Copilot sparkle images. It's a sparkle field and a sparkle. So if you, by default, it should be sparkle. But if you have two or more Copilot features in one page, you need to identify one as a like the most important, and add a sparkle field image to that. So that's all for the UI. Yeah. So now we will move to the AI logic itself. But if you want to learn more, you can follow my blog about the all this UI process. Now, the AI model. So the AI model consists of code units and the enums. We can split it into the like common functions, the functions that are related to the text completeness endpoint, and the functions that are related to the chat completion endpoints. And you remember I mentioned that we don't have a chat experience in Copilot. However, we use the chat endpoints to generate the output from the Azure OpenAI, because it's the latest and the most recent endpoint that is supported, the most supported. The text completion is also supported, by the way. So the first thing we need to do is to register our Copilot. So let me show you what does it mean. So if we go here and search for Copilot and AI capabilities, we will see that we have here our number series Copilot. So this is the administration page where you need to register your Copilot, and user can, so it will be activated by default, and you can deactivate it manually. Also, you can add here some information to your docs. I think here it's good to my blogs. Run URL blog. Okay. Yeah. So how is it done? So first, you need to implement the enum extension, which extend the Copilot capability enum, and implement your own Copilot value here. And then you have the register capability, where you, well, this is the full logic. So if it's not registered, then you should register that. So this is it's not here, but it's, you need to subscribe to that, right? So it's happening here. By the way, this repo is in my GitHub, and the link will be in the end. So first, we register our Copilot, number series Copilot, and not register. So we extend the enum with our Copilot. Yeah, and then we register. Oh yeah, so yeah, I was wrong. So we need to put it into the install code unit. So when we install our app, this should happen. It's not a subscription model. So we put it into the install code unit. When our app is installed, we run the register capability. One thing that I wanted to highlight here. So this, if environmental information is SaaS. So for our own Copilot is not required to be on SaaS only. It can be also on-prem. So if you want to make it available only in SaaS, you should have this line of code. If not, you can just delete it. Okay, and then we check if it's already registered, and then we register this with this function calling register capability, and provide our link to the learn more, our blog or your documentation, whatever. Yeah, so it's this. Then when we call our own Copilot, we need to use our own Azure OpenAI endpoints. So who pays for that? We pay. Yeah. So we provide our own endpoint, our own API key, our own deployment. You can save your configuration in isolated storage and or in a setup table, whatever you like. However, when you have this endpoint deployment and API key, you need to call the Azure OpenAI set authorization for the chat completions endpoint and provide these values to the function. So how to get these values? You need to create in your Azure the Azure OpenAI resource. So it's like a Azure OpenAI. You click create here and click on the links, you get this resource. However, if you click on this resource, you go to the model deployments and go here to manage deployments. And you go then to this Azure OpenAI Studio, and then you create a new deployment. And into this new deployment, you select the model. And maybe you will have here the GPT-4 as well, maybe not, but GPT-3, 5 Turbo will be definitely here. So you select this, click create, and then to get the URL and secret key and whatever, you go to the chat playground, and I take it usually from here. So we have the API base. So the API base will be our endpoint. Then we do have, where is it? Engine. So this engine will be our deployment and the key. Yeah. So our key will be the API key. You can just copy it from here. Then you need to save it inside of the Business Central somehow. So I use the setup table, normal setup table for that. And I do have a page, setup page, and I save it into the isolated storage and get from the isolated storage. So nothing magical here. The only thing that I also wanted to show is this setup action. So it's not, so this action that we have here, I just used to call this my setup page, and just to have it all in one place. However, it's, I would say, not designed for that. It's designed to upload your maybe documents or something if you have this. But this is implemented through this PromptDialog. So it's the attach system action. So I here run the my setup page. Okay, when you have the endpoints and deployments in place, you can call the generate function. So you need to implement this function. So you set the authorization, you set the parameters. So the parameters are the maximum output tokens that you expect from the model to output to you, and then the temperature. You set to 0. The temperature is something like at the creativity level. If you want to try, if you want the system to follow maximally your instructions, well, I advise to set it on 0. Then you have the parameters. You set the Copilot capability to your Copilot. And then you need to define the meta prompt. So the meta prompt is actually the system message to the Azure OpenAI, what you actually expect from that to be done. So in our case, here the user input, right? We don't tell the full story here. The full prompt we generate inside of the AL, or we get it from somewhere. So let's see how do we implement it. Yeah, so here it goes. So get system prompt I generated inside of the AL. So like your generate number series API, your task is to generate number series for the next entities. And then I generate the list of tables in a text way that have the number series field in that. And I save it so as an object caption. So I save the object caption of the table inside of the prompt. And then I also say, okay, the user might add additional instructions. You should fulfill them. And then some important part. Don't add any comments, fill all the fields, and always a response in a JSON format. If you want to have the structured output from the LLM, you should define the output here. So, and also at the end, repeat this output format, because it can, hallucinate and start from something like, okay, I got you, here is your JSON. Yeah, we don't want that. We just need a strict JSON format out. And then I also here describe my JSON format. So yeah, so that's actually the prompt I generate. Then yeah, so that's about the prompt, the structure. Then we add the user message. So the user message is what the user type here. Yeah, so it's this one. Then we should count the tokens, because you don't want to have the situation when your number of system prompt tokens plus the number of input text tokens will exceed the maximum number of tokens that allowed by the model. So we have here the GPT 3.5. It allows to have 4,000 tokens, which is the summary of all the input plus all the output. Yeah. So we do reserved 2,500 for the output, which means that we have 1,500 for the input. And the input is our system prompt and the user prompt. Okay. So we should have this function to check the token count. The thing is that before last week, inside of the AL, there was no functions to count the tokens. So I implemented this free Azure function to count the tokens, and also wrote the blog about how to use it. So you're welcome to just take this code and use my function to run the tokens, to count the tokens. However, I noticed that the new commit appeared last week, and like Microsoft also implemented this in AL. However, it's not yet implemented in version 23. Even 23.3 doesn't have that, so it will be implemented in the next version or 24.3. don't know. So we then call this generate chat completion function. And then if it succeeded, we get the last message from the chat messages. And this chat last message is a text. We need to do something with this text. Yeah, that's so we have like 7 minutes left. I will try to speed up a little bit. Yes, so we have this implementation here. So pretty same thing that as in a presentation. However, I do also some post-processing of that. So I do have this completion, and then I check if this is a valid completion. Here what it means, I check if I have the JSON. So I read the JSON array from that. If it's not, I do nothing. And then I just parse this JSON using the JSON management code unit, which is very straightforward. Using these, expected tags that I used in my system prompt. So I told the system I need this JSON format, so I expect this JSON format, and I parse this JSON format out. I also created several examples with a Copilot. So this is the probably you saw this on my Twitter maybe. This is the Copilot that can generate the job queues with a natural language, this is the flow is pretty much the same as I just described. So the output is in a JSON format, and I can just parse here the JSON format. Another example here is analyze with a Copilot. So this was a little bit challenging. So you have this table, and you say, okay, I want to analyze this somehow. And what it does, it actually generates the analysis view for you. So the standard model of analysis views is generated behind the scenes and shows here. And yeah, I will leave it for you. Yes, how this is done, like some like an analysis view is actually a YAML file that is described how the analysis view is should be viewable on the page, and this YAML file is actually base64 encoded into the URL. So you generate this YAML file and then generate the URL and open this URL. So if you want to, yeah, just try this and let me know if you have any questions. And the AI administration, I already talked about this a little bit. So yeah, we do have this nice page where you can register your Copilot. And then allow the user to activate or deactivate it if required. And when the user deactivates the Copilot, it also can write the reason for deactivation. And as I know, all this goes into the Azure Application Insights. Yeah, and also if you have the localization that doesn't have Azure OpenAI instance, this this configuration should be set to yes, so allow data movement. Yeah, so we have 4 minutes left. So these are the sources. The GitHub, Microsoft PC Tech, and samples. Actually, the samples that Microsoft prepared, suggest job, item substitution, it's some documented, so you can just follow that. Then this link is the link to this example that I just showed, and like 2 blogs that I just have in place and more to follow. And yeah, thanks. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Dmitry. So far, no questions. If somebody still wants to post a question, there are a couple of minutes left. I will add those links also to the comment I always add to the recording on YouTube, so people can directly access them. No, nothing to ask. Apparently, I didn't have any questions. It was very clear. We had a couple of hiccups in the sound. The one we did repeat, or you did repeat, that will solve it. There were some small ones at the end, but I will do my best to somehow fix that. So, Dmitry, thank you very much for taking your time and sharing this with us. And of course, thanks for everybody else joining in today. Yeah, I don't know if somebody did pose a question in the window. Nobody did. So, well, nicely on time.
Yeah, so, yeah, and I also wanted to mention that on the BC Tech days, Luc already, another Luc,
Yeah.
also approved the workshop. So it will be like a 1-day workshop on this topic.
Yeah, I saw it on the list indeed. Yeah, and good that you mentioned it. So, thanks everybody for being here, and hope to meet you next week when we have the webinar by forgot the name who's going to be the next time. I think was it Stefano? No, it was Andrzej Zwierzowski, of course. So be welcome to join in again, and otherwise we'll see each other on one of the others. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks everyone.